Hey there, my name is Amish. Sorry it's been a couple of weeks since I have put out a video. I took a little bit of a break for the holidays, but back at it. And in exciting news, have also sort of established and formed a key push group for this season, which I'm really, really excited about. That means there's going to be more videos, more opportunities to sort of critique play, and yeah, just generally speaking, overall, have I don't know, just a more of an opportunity to approach disc with a mindful perspective. So, really looking forward to that. We're going to take a look at a plus 23 Everbloom in this video. This was, I believe, oh shoot, I always forget. This was, yeah, Fortified, Afflicted, and Raging. So, I would say all things considered, not like the most difficult. Well, for me anyway, it's not the most difficult. It can get a little bit annoying in terms of, you know, those times when you can't stop an enemy for one reason or another, which we'll see come up quite a few times in this key. But yeah, looking at talents, so this is going to look very familiar for those who've seen my other videos. This is, I think, just the standard build that's been floating around, popping a point into Twilight Equilibrium, and taking that instead of Ultimate Penitence. And then I think the only major change that I have made for this week, since there are so many dispels needed, is I put a point into Mental Agility, just to reduce the mana cost of my dispel. I don't know if that's necessarily like needed, especially because there were plenty of times when I didn't encounter any mana issues from what I recall anyway in this key. But that's just something that, you know, if you, for example, find that you're struggling with mana, that could be something that might help for afflicted weeks. So there's that. I think looking at damage and healing spread. So I took a look at the logs because you'll see that the Yalnu damage it comes out quite a bit higher than everything else just because of how it works. I think, I don't know, there's some sort of mechanic that basically makes him take more damage or something like that. I really am not sure. But I took a look at a log just to get a better sense of what the actual numbers were. So this says that I did about 91k overall, 91k DPS overall. The log said it was closer to 80. And looking at other disc priests with the same trinkets, same eye level, doing a 23, 23 Everbloom, I should say. That's pretty good, actually. I was pleasantly surprised to see that with the trinkets that I have, that this damage output was pretty solid. So I guess the only way that this could like really increase would be getting different trinkets, more damage dealing trinkets. I've seen a couple people, for example, play, oh my gosh, what's it called? Like Belarus or something like that. And there's another one that's escaping me. But anyway, more damage dealing trinkets would help quite a bit in that regard. But for now, this is what we have to work with. Oh wait, going back. Smite is at 329 casts. I've seen people get closer to like 370. So there's a little bit of headroom for improvement there, but I would say for the most part, that's pretty good. And then looking at penance, this could be a little bit higher. I was comparing a log to someone else who cast it closer to like twice as much. I think it was like 36, 37 times or something like that. So that could be improved as well. You'll see my Holy Nova is pretty low. I just wasn't really focusing on it this run, but you know, that would be another area of improvement, especially if I'm talenting a couple points into that. And then I think my Purge the Wicked also could have been higher. I wasn't really being super intentional about making sure it was put on everyone, so definitely an area of improvement. But my biggest focus for this run was just making sure that my Mindbender uptime was pretty high. And again, I think I've said before, yeah, at least 25% is sort of my goalpost. So 27.4 is pretty good. And then looking at overall healing, not a whole lot to say here. Yeah, I put Dreaming Devotion on my weapon mainly for something in Raid. I'm not necessarily sure I would like recommend people do that. I think if you sim it, it's I think it's still coming out with Sophic Devotion, but don't quote me on that because I haven't done it in a while. But that's just interesting to see that that popped out 3 mil. It's pretty good. A little bit higher than the Desperate Prayer, which is not too bad. All right, all that being said, I think that covers it all. So we can go ahead and clip on over to the key. Hello, I'm back. Before we get clipped over to the key, there are actually a couple things that I wanted to mention. So first of all, thanks so much for the positive reception for the videos. I really wasn't expecting that at all. So yeah, that's been very lovely. Thank you for all the comments. I've seen at least one person ask for Weakauras, and then one person ask for sort of a nameplate profile. So for Weakauras, this is actually a modified version of the Weakaura suite from Just Discipline. So I'll go ahead and link that link to his Weakaura suite below. And then in terms of my nameplates, I actually use VuhDo. So I can go ahead and link that profile below as well. Yeah, I think that covers it. Okay, now we can go ahead and clip on over to the key. Alrighty, so to get started, we had just come off the tail of a completely failed 24 Everbloom, and so my biggest priority with this one was just to come into this much more cleanly, especially focusing on the last 2 bosses. Those were a big struggle, so toss down a barrier because things can get a little bit dicey here. Not sure what happened to the mage. Then go straight into a Schism Shadow Covenant after a Radiance. Alright, the 7 Torment window. You're going to be hearing that gong sound quite a bit. That's the sound that I have assigned to the afflicted in my Weakauras, so it's gonna be singing at us. I find that the parts that I struggle with the most with Everbloom, which I haven't run very much, by the way, I feel like I've only ever really run Dawn of the Infinites, but I definitely struggle with the venom bursts here in this area. And then, yeah, just the last 2 bosses are pretty gnarly. So, yeah, everything in between those, mostly doable. I think this is also the key that I swapped my potion to Ultimate Power instead of Shocking Disclosure. I was finding that I think previously I had only been using Shocking Disclosure, but there are plenty of times in these dungeons where it's just really nasty to get up in the middle of packs for it to be, for it to have its most use and impact. And so, yeah, I went ahead and made the swap. Go ahead and skip Gnarl Root. I fade because you never know. Might body pull.
Empowered.
Yeah, I feel like with this video, like I said, there's really not a whole lot to say about sort of the first half of the dungeon. For me anyway. So yeah, my biggest focus was just making sure my Mindbender was getting some good uptime there, and calling it good.
No, He will awaken.
I have that sort of ploying sound for the choking vines, I think is what it's called. I tend to hold on to my scream for that. It's something that you can dispel, but especially this week with Afflicted, it's easier to, yeah, just not have to deal with it. Just avoid it altogether by CCing when you can.
We are all doomed. We have not yet purified the water.
One thing I'm noticing is I tend to use Radiance almost on cooldown. Not, okay, maybe not on cooldown. No, yeah, there it goes. I'm guessing to keep atonements on people. I think the biggest thing though is that, like, for example here, there is not AoE damage like pulsing or going out consistently. And so there's really no need to have atonements on the group at all times. I think that that's like a really min-maxy thing to be paying attention to, like, which parts of the dungeon are going to have that and which are not. And sort of like, yeah, mapping out when you're going to keep everyone atoned. I think generally for fortified weeks, I'm just like generally terrified. And so I think that my knee-jerk reaction is to, okay, that was a bit of a late pain sup. I think yeah, that's something to improve upon. But yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. This boss is basically, ooh, I missed the 6th torment. This boss is basically just a target dummy, mainly. That was a late paint up as well. Okay, so yeah, going forward, I think that that is how we're going to do this. Is our tank is going to pull everything down into Witherbark. I think as soon as the tank gets down the ramp, I'll PS going forward. That was a little dicey. A way to really maximize torments here would be to actually swap to the unchecked growths, to squeeze in, just squeeze in some extra deaths. I did not do that. Yeah, I'm like keeping the group fully atoned, which is not necessary here. Definitely is in other parts, just not this boss. This boss is pretty tame. And that's that on that. Alright, now this is when things start to get interesting. So, I think there are a couple of times with the... Oh shoot, I don't remember what they're called, but yeah, just looking at Mindbender uptime there. 115k overall on the boss. It's not bad. So yeah, these berserkers are gonna be especially tough with.
Empower.
I'm not sure if that was the best timing for a barrier. I think that I should have waited for. You see on the berserker nameplates how there's a countdown for 3, 3, 2. I should have put the barrier down when it. Yeah. Because that's when sort of like the spiky damage goes out. Okay, so next time that's what I'll do is I'll wait for the barrier. Because really nothing was happening. I think sometimes what happens is I'm like, I don't use barrier very frequently, which is bad. I need to get into a better habit of timing when I use it, especially on trash. And so if I see a bunch of mobs, I'll just like slam it down, and that's not the best use. So I swapped to the dread. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't swap to the dread pedal, but I thought about it to get the extra death in. But hey, you know, the intent was there. Just got to execute. Yeah, these berserkers had it out for our mage. He was very upset about it. Keep the pet mind soothed. Berserker's gonna jump in about 7 seconds, but I think it dies before then. Yeah.
The forest closes in around you.
I think we have an unfortunate situation here where, yeah, the berserker jumps and actually is in the way of the pat, and it puts the pat in combat. So, that was unfortunate. I think the way that I could have avoided that is scooch in a little bit more, just so that the berserker didn't target me. But the druid had Incarn, and I had PI, and well, he popped off. So it worked out in the end. And it was all good in the end.
You will never escape.
I don't know why, but I always feel really awkward with this pack. Like, I don't know where to stand. I don't know if we're supposed to be super scooched in. I have no idea. I'm just trying my best here. This was after a long break. The Noxious Eruption is pretty gnarly, and yeah, it looks like pretty much everyone had a defensive rolling for that, but I think that that would have been an excellent spot for barrier. Looks like I have that up. My video just stuttered, so I actually don't know what killed our mage. Another Noxious Eruption. Yeah, again, would have been a great barrier or rapture moment. So here, it wasn't necessarily like required to have those CDs rolling for the Noxious Eruptions, but as you get higher on Fortified, that's definitely going to need to be something that I have rolling. Like cycle between Rapture, Barrier, Rapture, Personals, something like that. I don't know if that's how the timing works, but...
Empowered. Empowered.
So normally I actually start this fight with a Rapture, but I went ahead and Schism Shadow Covenanted. Okay, but I Rapture now.
Life
That was a panic moment. Yeah, it's always this first half trying to get Earthshaper Telu down. Once Earthshaper Telu's down, it's like pretty smooth sailing. It's just, yeah, it's pretty gnarly. I just realized that we didn't lust this. Oh, we might have been saving it for the next boss, actually. Yo, Foliage this season is like the hardest boss. I don't know. I have the hardest time with my camera angles this season. It's pretty gnarly. Alright, now it is smooth sailing. Do I get 8? I got 8. 8 torments, very good. Nice. Alright, now this is going to be the thing I am most excited to talk about, because this boss is the boss that I feel I struggle with probably the most in this entire season's dungeon rotation.
Empowered.
I struggle with placement, movement, anticipating what damage patterns are going to happen. Just the whole, all of it is like such a struggle. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how this played out, seeing how to maximize play. Okay, so I Rapture... So yeah, the Pyromancers, something Cindo, something Fire, Pyro something, Cinderbolt Salvo. There we go. Yeah, Rapture that. Definitely important to have a cooldown running, for every single one of those, otherwise you'll just die. Yeah. Now we just have the Arcanomancer. I am ready to move. I am moving. I have been annihilated by that orb one too many times. Yeah, the cooldowns on nameplates, Weakauras is huge. Such a lifesaver. Can't remember who authored it, but kudos to them. That was another instance of radiancing the group when I didn't need to. These hapless assistants, they just like fungal punch the tank pretty much. Like there's really nothing else that happens. Yeah, it's these wizards that are
Empowered.
terrifying. So it looks like a Cinderbolt Salvo is happening now. This would be a really good time to Rapture. It looks like I am Looks like I did not rapture. I might have been saving it for the boss. That was close. Ooh, do I get 8? 8 torments. That's a win. Love that. Alright, so going into Archmage Sol. So I think it always starts with Cinderbolt Storm. And so it really... this is the only thing that I have got down. You run in there and you rapture. That's what I do anyway. There could be a better way to do it, but that's what I do. That's what I've found works great. The thing that I struggle with, I think, so you see the druids hanging out over there. I am totally out of range of the druid. And so I'm hanging out with the mage. I PS the mage. I don't think I needed
5,
to.
4, 3, 2,
I think that was a very reactive PS. So this is Frost and Arcane. Up next in about 10 seconds is Fire and Arcane. So with Fire, really good to have another defensive going. I think I'm going to put Barrier down.
4, 3,
yeah.
2,
I told people to run into Barrier, but watch your feet. It's one really tough thing about... Ooh, that was very close. It's one tough thing about Barrier is that sometimes you put it down and people think they're safe, and so, you know, they stand in something that just one-shots them, and it's a sad time for everyone involved. Okay, so now we have, I think that's Fire and Frost. Life on myself. Guy Penance. The Druid. I did not need to with Bark Skin, I think.
3, 2, 1.
And she's dead. So...
way to stop them.
Yeah. It's tough. Because I feel like I could have played that much better. And yet I did use all of my CDs. so it's kind of tough. I'm not sure. Wait, what is going on? Oh, I'm stuck inside of a desk. We love that. So yeah, going in with Rapture, using a PS on someone who may not necessarily have a defensive available, coordinating with the Paladin to perhaps our tank to perhaps sack someone. It's tough. It's really tough to say. But like watching it back, I think I pretty much did the best that I could.
5,
It was just really
4,
a positioning thing
3,
that could have maybe been
2,
improved a little bit.
1.
We love an altar time. Looks like my potion's ready. I think I've been relatively good about...
5,
There, I used my
4,
potion.
3,
Actually, I don't know if I've been relatively
1.
good about using my potion. I haven't been paying attention. So I'm rapturing this one because it's an overlap. Mage is a little bit low there. It's a little spicy. One thing that you can do if you want to be friendly to your disc priest in the
5,
party
4,
is you can leave
3,
like 1 or
2,
2
1.
of those little flowers up to get an extra death when they're in execute range. Just sort of helps keep the party healthy.
4, 3,
Although
2,
I think we try to do
1.
that in this next round and it just like insta dies anyway, so you know. But again, can be pretty nice if executed properly. Make sure to
5,
focus the Flourishing
4,
Ancient.
3,
I'm
2,
going ahead and flash healing. PS myself. This is just such a spicy overlap.
It's reviving the little ones.
I think we leave one up.
Five,
Maybe we don't.
4, 3,
Ah,
2,
we don't. Oh, there it is.
1.
Oh, there's one lasher. So yeah, there it is. Half health and it's gone. So sometimes
5, 4,
sometimes that
3,
approach does
2,
not work out,
1.
but you know, when it does, it's nice.
The vines are overtaking everything.
5, 4, 3,
Rapturing again.
1.
That doesn't look good.
Empowered. Empowered.
I'm not DPSing at
5,
all here.
4,
That's a big
2,
area of improvement.
1.
Just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. What the heck? I literally haven't cast anything. Didn't cast anything for like 8 globals. What was I doing?
5,
And he's dead.
4.
Very good. That is the key. Got a 25 Atel'Dazar, which we then ran right after that, which I will post a video of as well. So, yeah, all in all, yeah, 2-chested the 23. I think it went about as well as it could have. I think Archmage Sol was, man, that's just a tough boss. I don't know. I'll definitely be doing some homework on how to improve, because especially like for Tyrant weeks, that's just going to be so nasty. Just so nasty to work through. Something like scripting CDs and personals and things like that is probably going to be in my future. So anyway, that's the key. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!